This video contains commentary. What's snap, crackle, and poppin', my little deuterinos? Welcome back to Storytime with your favorite Reddit fairy. My name is Lorna, and today we're getting into some tasty revenge stories. I've got some r/PettyRevenge, r/regular revenge, r/ProRevenge, and I think I've got one from r/supernova revenge. So without further ado, smash that subscribe button, sit back, relax, and let's get right into it. Tell me to cover up in my own yard? Be beholden to my thighs every summer. Posted by user Z03ETH. So this is more of an annual revenge thing. About 5 years ago, a greedy councilman put up 3 two-story apartments next door to our house. One of these has a direct view of our pool area, and a grouchy woman and her husband moved into it. Anyhoot, as we have done in the 15 summers before they got there, we all went for an afternoon swim. The woman was on her balcony and made a huge, dramatic fuss about going back inside and closing her curtains. She then screeched at her husband when he tried to go outside. It's not like we were indecent or anything, just in our swimsuits. We laughed about it and continued having a nice afternoon at the pool while she roasted inside. A few days went by and I decided it was too hot to be inside and went for a dip. I was in the middle of a uni and this was the only time I'd leave the house between assignments and tests. Now, I do not have a body that stops traffic. I'm a regular, plump human whose Dorito-loving habits have begun to show around the lower body area. I take off my sarong and jump into the pool. After a few minutes, I sense someone watching me. Look up and find a man on the balcony smoking and staring right at me. I make a bit of an aggressive, "What?" gesture, and he scurries back inside, only to return with the woman in tow. The conversation went something along the lines of, her, "Excuse me, could you not swim when my son is out here smoking? He just lost his job and this is the time he'd normally smoke, and you're out here naked and distracting him." Me, "Ew, he's the age of my dad. He can smoke on your front balcony. And I've lived here for, at the time, 15 years. So you can't blame me for being here naked. Which I'm not. I'm swimming." Her, "I'm just asking you to be considerate, okay?" At this point, the grown-ass man-baby was looking smug. Me, "If you don't like it, then move." And I continued swimming. They stood there for another 5 minutes before once again going inside and closing the sliding patio doors and curtains. Also, I was not naked or indecent. I wear full swimsuits because I'm a little insecure about my belly. See paragraph about the Doritos. I told my parents, and the next day my mom joined me in the pool to show them, and I quote, "What real traumatizing thighs look like." But that got me thinking though. I could make their summers a living hell if closing all their curtains was how they'd go about seeing us in the pool. So now every summer, weather permitting, I go out and flash my thighs for a few hours in the afternoon and have them roast up in their apartment. It's been 5 years of this and I will continue doing this until the day I leave home. Edit. I want to thank everyone who is giving me ideas to be even more petty. My mom and I are getting a good chuckle out of it, and I am now on Amazon looking for the hairy dude swimsuit. Also, you guys have been so wholesome about this. My Dorito thighs give thanks for the acceptance. That's fucking great. Let's see if we can find some of these suggestions that OP's receiving here. Let me see. Okay, so FRJack666 says, "Find something that could accidentally be positioned to reflect light directly at them. That'll do their heads in." OP says, "I like the way you think. I'll make my way to the shed, post haste in search of something." And then my F Googled reflective swimsuit, and apparently, let's see if this is a thing. Let's see. Okay. That would be annoying as fuck with something super reflective. Like if you get one of those, like those, lighting kits for photography and, videography and all that. Get one of those, like really powerful lights and just shine it on your bathing suit. Oh, I love it. Alright, my dudes, before I get into the next story, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Make sure you click that all button to receive all notifications so you never miss one. Alright, let's get into the next one. This one, my dudes, is called Lie to Get Back My $75? Watch me walk customers away from your business for years. Posted by user Sumo Ninja 17. Many moons ago, I did automotive locksmith work. It was usually for cars that were impounded, repoed, or people lost their keys. I'd make my rounds once or twice a week to the storage lots, and there would be a list waiting for me. One bank lot had a maroon Ford Tempo. I picked the ignition, took the lock out, and put a new lock in. Then I made keys for the doors and trunk. I finished up the rest of the lot and left. Back at the office, we send the bank our bill and get on with our day. About 2 weeks later, a bank rep, Ed, calls and asks if I could take care of the customer for the locksmithing. I asked why. He said the guy was claiming damages and refused to pay. Note, the bank gets to charge the owner all the costs for repo, including locks and keys. I asked Ed, what damages? Usually, people get confused because we changed the ignition locks and their original keys don't work, but we gave them 2 new keys with the new lock. Their door and trunk keys still worked. Ed said, the guy said you broke his rear window defroster. I was laughing. I said, Ed, you know that making keys has nothing to do with his rear defroster, right? His defrogger was broke before the bank took the car and he was using it to get out of paying for the keys. Ed agreed, but said his boss was tired of hearing the asshole scream. Yes, he said that. I told Ed not to worry about the $75. They gave us lots of work. Please keep sending it. Ed was happy. His boss was happy. I was not. I hate when people lie to get over on you, but what could I do? Ed sent the guy to my office and I gave him a check for $75. I also told the smug fucker that I knew he was lying, that there was no way making keys for his car damaged his rear defogger. His answer? The bank doesn't know that. Now I hated him. But what could I do? What could I do? I forgot about it for 6 months, then went to pick up takeout at our usual Friday night place. Call it A's. Then I saw it. 3 doors down. The lying lock guy was opening a new restaurant. He had big signs and billboards in the shopping center complete with his name and photos on the signs. Now, I knew what I could do. I went to his restaurant about a week after it opened. My ex wanted to try it out. I was hoping to run into the asshole, but he stayed in the kitchen the whole time. Probably for the best. I more than likely would have done something he'd regret. Well, the food wasn't bad, but it was nowhere near as good as the other place in the shopping center, A's, the one we got Friday night takeout from. So I made it a point to tell everyone heading into his restaurant that A's was better. Every Friday night, I'd tell anyone heading into Liars if they wanted good food, go to A's. I used to go into A's and sit at the bar and have a beer and place a takeout order. Now I walked into A's, ordered, and waited outside near Liars. But it wasn't just Friday nights I did this. There was Office Max in the same center. When I would go there, I'd walk over near Liars and tell as many people near there as I could. Then my kids started taking karate in the same center. Yup, I did my anti-word-of-mouth advertising. I think Liar's restaurant lasted 2, maybe 3 years. I made it a point to talk them down every chance I could. I know they lost way more than $75. I was petty, and I got my revenge. That is pretty petty, but it's almost kind of pro if you made them, go out of business. Oh shit. But when you think about it, it's pretty similar to just writing a review online, going online and telling people word of mouth that way too. It's you can't really fault him for that because the guy was a dick and you shouldn't support somebody like that. Well, sue me, I don't know, whatever. So what's up, my dudes? How's your day going? Let me know in the comments. I want to know. All right, let's get into the next story. I think the next one is going to be from Regular Revenge, and this one is called Never Felt Better When the Beat Dropped. Posted by user KitX38. I couldn't seem to post this on PettyRevenge, so I thought I'd post it here instead. So, a few years back, we had some petty, shitty neighbors who lived upstairs from us, who basically partied at least twice a month. Bear in mind, we live in the UK and it's actually illegal to even honk your car after 11 p.m., so they knew they were in the wrong. Not to mention, we could hear everyone's feet stomping the floor dancing. So, we went through the normal notions of calling the local council, knocking on their doors, but they persisted that they're partying and also tried to intimidate me. What they didn't realize is that I am a huge, massive music fanatic, and I love my high-quality sound, which also meant that I knew their speaker was low quality and, quite honestly, shite. So, I decided to make my move the very next morning starting 8 a.m. and just thought to myself, I feel like such a dick because I'm going to ruin the neighbors on either side of me too. But fuck it. I value my sleep and these guys have done it every month for at least 6 months. So I woke up with 3 hours sleep after my family went to work as they worked weekends, removed everything off my shelves as the bass for my speakers have literally caused my belongings to commit suicide before, opened up all my windows and blasted the loudest and heaviest dubstep, heavy metal, drum and bass music I could find and think of. The music was so loud that I had to physically remove myself from my house because I could literally feel the floor shaking and the liquid in my body vibrating. And while I was outside, my next door neighbor, who was a sweet little old lady, came out and looked at me. I have never felt so ashamed and disappointed in myself for waking this little old lady as I looked her in the eye. I am so sorry if I woke you up, but that bastard's upset. No worries. Keep going. Can you go any louder? At this point, I felt like we had a bit of a mutual understanding, so I saw that as my green light to harass them until 12 p.m. So I gave her a little heads up that things from her shelf might start falling. I head back into my home, pause the music, in case the vibrations from the water in my body might kill me, and find the deepest and lowest bass loops my speakers can handle, faced my subwoofer to the wall, and just played it on loop, and continued to blast that for another 4 hours until 12 p.m. It's been at least 2 years, and I haven't heard a party since. I don't know if come on, really? The little old lady was cool with being woken up like that? Come on. I don't know. Is this story true? I don't know. I want to believe it's true because that little old lady would be super awesome. But let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? True or false? Let's hear you guys be the decision makers. All right, my dudes, let's get into some r/ProRevenge. And this one is called Threaten to Beat Up My Roommate? Enjoy Failing Your Class, posted by user Mountain Trekker. During my second year in college, I lived with 3 friends in a house that had another 4 guys living on the other side of the house. The 2 sides of the house had a lot of mutual friends as my roommates had known them from high school. So we had tons of parties together during the year and got along pretty good, until a few months before final exams. Each side of the house had its own electric, water, and cable bills, which we paid separately. I always handled the bills and paid them each month, but our water bill was actually in my roommate's name. I'll call him Bird. So one day, the biggest turd on the other side of the house, LaDouche, who handled their bills, walked into our house when I wasn't there and confronted Little Bird and yelled at him, saying we owed him over $500. Apparently, their water bill each month was about $125, and ours was $40 to $50. LaDouche thought there had to be a mistake in the billing, so we should split the bills down the middle. After I was told about this confrontation, I contacted the water company and asked about the billing. I was told over the phone the bills were specifically split up to each side of the house, but a person would come out to check the water meters. The next day, a technician stopped by and looked at the meters to make sure that they were operating correctly and that they were billing to the separate sides of the house. He confirmed that there wasn't an issue with the meters or billing and basically said they were probably using more water. End of story. I told my roommates about this because of my schedule. I didn't see LaDouche for about a week. During that time, he confronted Little Bird a couple more times, who told him about the water company's position, but again, he was yelled at, inside our own house and was again told that we needed to split the bills with them. Then the weekend comes. My roommates and I head to a house party hosted by some mutual friends. At some point during the party, I was in the front yard when a friend runs up to me and says LaDouche is trying to fight Little Bird. We run to the backyard, and through about 50 people, I can see LaDouche, with his roommates behind him, in the middle of the circle pushing Bird, yelling that he owes him money, and him throwing him onto a beer pong table where he held him down, saying he was going to beat Bird's ass. I nearly lose my mind as I see this and immediately grab LaDouche, say a few choice things, and shove him away. I wanted to do more, but it wasn't worth it. Yet. So, LaDouche and I actually had a class together. We weren't friends, never sat together, and since the whole water bill incident, we never even looked at each other in the 500-person lecture. He always sat with one of his roommates, and I sat with one of my best friends, Rose. As the water bill fight somewhat subsided and the final exam got near, LaDouche and his roommates started to act more civil and would even make small talk to Rose and I in the hall about the final worth 75% of the grade, topics to study, blah blah blah. They knew Rose and I had A's in the class. It wasn't a very difficult class, but I enjoyed it and actually studied quite a bit and knew I'd probably get an A, and maybe I had let Rose cheat off of me in the first test. I told Rose I had a feeling LaDouche and his roommate were up to something since they were being so nice, and that I expected them to try and cheat off of us. So I came up with a plan if they tried. Now, the format of the test is important. It was the packet of questions with the answers A, B, C, D listed vertically, and then you transfer your answers to a bubble Scranton. Scranton, I got the office on the brain. Scantron, which is another sheet of paper that gets put through the machine. Not sure how familiar people are with it. With this format, I told Rose that I would circle an answer. She would look over and circle the same answer with a big circle, ensuring that anyone looking could see. We would do this for the entire 100-question final before marking our answers on the Okay, I'm not losing my mind. That time it says Scranton. Scantron. The key to this revenge plan was the actual answer was always going to be the answer directly below the circled answer. So if we circle A, the answer we put on the Scantron is B. If the circle answer is D, the answer we put is A. For a few days, I kind of thought I was being weird and crazy to come up with this plan because there was no way this guy actually thought he would cheat, and I was blinded by anger. Either way, when the day of the final exam came, we got to the room early and I sat on the far right seat of row with Rose to my left. Guess who strolls in and decides to sit next to us for the first time all year after he threatened to beat up my best friend a month before? Oh yeah, LaDouche. Dude had no shame and snuggled right in the next seat to Rose with his roommate next to him. Rose and I could barely believe it and had to use some serious composure before the test started. The two of us operated like a well-oiled machine. We circled our answers large, and at the end, we went back through and marked the correct answers onto the Scantron. During the test, we could both see LaDouche and his roommate leaning and copying our circled answers. Unreal. Fast forward to the summer break, and LaDouche's roommate came over to our side of the house when he saw Rose was there with me. He opened a beer and chatted for a bit before he finally got to what we were waiting for. So, how did you guys do on that test? I remember looking at Rose and saying something like, I don't remember exactly, but I know I ended up with an A in the class. And she chimes in saying, yeah, that sounds about right. I got a 92 on the test. The look on his face told us everything we needed to know, and he mumbled out, really? LaDouche and I both failed and have to take the class again. Good. That's a genius plan. I hope, that sounds really in-depth, and I'm kind of inclined to believe this happened, like it sounded like she really had it planned out, but you never know. Some of these people are really good writers. But if that did happen, that is pro right there. Am I in ProRevenge? Yeah, I think, yep, this is pro. She's a pro. She's a pro, my dudes. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Or he. I don't know what. this is probably a guy if it's all guys in this house, so my bad. But yeah, he or she is a pro. That's all I'm saying. All right, my dudes, this next story, I've got one more from r/ProRevenge, and this one is called Insurance Company Didn't Approve Tests Requested by My Doctor, Ends Up Losing My Company. Posted by user Living Life Each Day. Obligatory English is not my first language. Sorry for any mistakes. The company I work for provides free insurance for all employees. I've been working in my company as a finance manager for 13 years, and the company I've been dealing with a famous insurance company for the last 10 years, providing insurance policies for employees. In the span of 10 years, I think I must have used my insurance 3 times. I'm a young man, healthy and athletic, and didn't really face any health problems. That all changed a couple of months ago when I suddenly gained too much weight and I started having some breathing difficulties. So I went to my doctor, who, after the checkup, asked me to do a normal blood test, a cholesterol test, and a vitamin D test. No problem. My insurance will take care of that. Or at least that's what I thought. When I submitted the application for approval, they approved the blood test only. I was furious. I went ahead and did all the tests and paid for the ones the insurance didn't approve. After that incident, I called the broker, who, by the way, I personally know, and told him what had happened. He started making up excuses and defending the insurance company. At the end of our conversation, I told him one thing. Make sure to tell them that this mistake will cost them a lot. My company will not renew the contract with them. He started laughing and replied, "It's not up to you to decide if the contract will be renewed or not." I told him, "Oh, yes, it is." What they didn't know is that my company asked me a couple days earlier, since I'm the finance guy, to try to find another insurance provider that will give us the same benefits for less, or to get a better deal from the same provider. At first, I really didn't want to find another provider since we had been dealing with that company for 10 years. I thought I will be able to get a better price from them. It all changed that Friday afternoon. After the weekend, I started searching for another insurance provider. I got multiple offers and made a comparison table between the current company and all other offers. After 3 weeks of searching and negotiating, I was able to narrow it to one provider who will give the same benefits for 30% less. I was ecstatic. During the next board meeting, I made a presentation for the shareholders. They were happy that this will save them a lot of money. I'm not going to give exact figures, but the contract itself is in the order of hundreds of thousands of dollars. After all was agreed, and when the renewal date came, you should have seen the look on the old insurance provider's face when they became aware of what had happened. They asked for a meeting in our office, and they offered to give 25% discount for us to stay with them. I declined the offer with a smile on my face and said it would be impossible now because the new contract was signed already. Suck it to 'em. Suck it to 'em, OP. That's great. I love when they get like snotty with you, like, "What are you gonna do about it?" And you're like, "Bitch, you're about to find out." All right, my dudes, I got one more story for you, and this one is from r/nuclear revenge. I thought it was supernova, but it's nuclear, my dudes. So this one is called The 1-Year Vendetta Against My Stepfather. Posted by user Nico Wilder. Update. I'm getting used to the new view. What's this new view here? Oh, nice view. That is a nice view. God damn. Okay. That guy's got a nice view, my dudes. Okay. In early 2018, I was working as a failed real estate agent and had a savings account that I wanted to use for paying a preparatory course that would help me pass the exams for college admission. Well, my stepfather had a grudge against me because I had a drug problem and convinced my mother to not let me use the savings account to afford the course. It was in her name. I decided that if they wouldn't help me, I would do it myself, quit real estate business, and applied for a test that could give a discount in the course for whoever had the highest grades and got a 70% discount. Grandfather agreed to help me pay for this course, but my stepfather wanted me to drop studies and keep working. He called me and threatened to call a corrupt police officer that was a friend of his to plant drugs in my room and arrest me, and my bitch mother was on his side. Secretly recorded the call and prints of his text and filled a report, and when I told him, he started from his month onwards to avoid me at all costs. For the next few months, I behaved like the perfect son and gave a notebook that belonged to him. Found out that he was cheating on my mother and that his degree on IT was no longer valid. I gathered the information, just in case, and anonymously sent an email to his company. My mother has an apartment on the beach. Stepfather poured lots of cash to make the apartment wonderful. Bought smart TVs, expensive whiskeys, new furniture, etc., with the intention of moving there with my mom. He got fired from his high-paying IT job because of the emails, has no idea I had anything to do with it, and now he is an Uber driver. Without telling anyone, I applied for the universities in the city where the apartment is located and passed the exams. They are the second and fourth best universities in my country. Mother is super proud, and to save rent costs, she decides to let me live in the refurnished apartment. Stepfather is pissed and won't be able to enjoy what he bought, but can't do anything about it because the apartment isn't his. In 3 days, I'll be living in a huge beach apartment with $10,000 of luxurious furniture, sipping whiskey paid by the person that hates me the most. I took shit from both of them for 1 year, and it's finally paying off. He lost his job, and when the time is right, I'll ruin his marriage too. Shit. Honestly, I feel like there's more to this story because if the guy admittedly was a drug addict, I can understand why his parents would be, a little leery about giving him money. Like, did he do something in the past? Did he steal money from them? Like, you don't... this one is like, I don't know if I want to praise the OP because that's some pretty, crazy shit that he did. You ruin someone's life pretty much, but at the same time, I don't. What led to this? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. There's always two sides to the story, my dudes. This is a pretty good story, though. You got to admit, he got him pretty good. Guys, now I have a question for you. I was thinking, since people just seem to really fucking love r/choosing beggars, how would you guys feel if I did a choosing beggar episode, an r/choosing beggars episode every day, Monday to Friday, with a story or two at the end with a different subreddit? How would you guys feel about that? Let me know in the comments below. I want to take kind of like a poll to see, because it was something that was suggested to me and I just want to throw it out there and see what you guys think. Since you are the viewers, your input is important to me. So let me know in the comments below. My dudes, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did like it, please smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on all notifications for future videos just like this one. And as always, the links to the stories will be in the description, so head on over to Reddit and show those posters some love with some upvotes. You know they deserve it. And as always, don't forget to submit your stories, my dudes. I'm still compiling all your stories. I've got some juicy ones that you guys have left in the comments section, in the Discord, on my subreddit, all that fun stuff. So stay tuned for that. Again, it's probably going to be in a few weeks from now. I'm just compiling right now. So stay tuned for that. My dudes, you have a fan-fucking-tabulous day, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode. Peace out, my dudes.